Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 168 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, and this week we are continuing our trip down memory lane. We're going back into the archives and picking out from over 3 years of weekly tips and advice for membership site owners. We are picking out 3 of the best older episodes of the show and bringing them to your attention, floating them back to the top of the list. You know, we've done 168 episodes now, and as much as we know you guys love the show, I'm under no illusions that, you know, you're not going to be sitting there and binge listening back through 3 years worth of episodes. But I want to make sure that you do not miss some of the best episodes and the best advice we put out there. So last week, this week, and next week, I've handpicked 3 awesome episodes that I think you want to make sure you've listened to. So last week we talked about how to decide whether your content should be free or whether it should be paid. That's something we see coming up all of the time. It's a question we see so many people struggling with, both inside our own membership at membersiteacademy.com, as well as in our Facebook group and the emails we get, the messages we get on social. So hopefully the trip into the vault last week was hugely useful to you. This week's trip back into the archives is equally useful. We're talking about strategies for increasing your membership pricing. Now, even if you did catch this first time round all the way back in episode 41 when it first aired, there's a long time passed since then. Chances are you might be considering putting up the price for your membership. During the course of running your membership, you'll inevitably come to a point where you're thinking about increasing how much you're charging. You know, maybe your offering has changed. Maybe it's evolved so much and there's so much more content in there that now you feel that actually, you know what, it's worth a little bit more. Perhaps you're responding to increased demand. So maybe you run a membership that is limited in terms of how many members you bring on. Or maybe you just want to earn a little bit more for your efforts. You know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make a little bit more money. Rather than simply raising your prices overnight out of nowhere, you want to check out this episode of the Membership Guys podcast. I've got some specific tips and strategies that will help you to get the best results from an increase to your membership pricing. So here we go, back into the vault from the Membership Guys podcast for my tips on increasing your membership prices. First and foremost, the thing you're going to want to make sure that you do if you're going to put your prices up is to make sure that you keep existing members at the price they joined at. If someone joined your membership site when you first launched for $29 a month and you've now put your price up to $59 a month, it's not fair. And in a lot of cases, you're probably going to get in a hell of a lot of trouble if you just bump their price up. The price someone joins at is the price that they should stay at with your membership site. It's very, very, very rare that you will have justification or that you will have the right to increase the price you're charging someone. Similarly, unless you've added all sorts of features, bells and whistles to your membership site that weren't available right at the beginning and that your existing members don't necessarily have the right to expect, then you just can't justify it. You can't justify watering down what you're offering to your lower paying members just because you now have decided you want to get more money out of your subscriptions. The prize somebody gets for coming on board with you early, for being an early adopter, from supporting you from an early stage of your membership, the reward they get is they get to stick at the price that they originally joined. And actually, it's a good thing for you from a retention point of view. Because I know if I joined a membership site and I joined in the early days when it was only $20 a month, and I know now that new members are paying $100 a month, what are the chances if I'm kind of not really using your site as much as I used to, I still enjoy being a member, but maybe I was thinking about taking a few months break. What are the chances I'm going to leave your membership site and lose that $20, that sweet $20 a month payment, and then have to come back and pay 5 times more So from a retention point of view, making sure that you keep your existing members at the price point they originally joined at is a big deal. So that's something you absolutely want to make sure that you're doing, and make sure you actually tell your existing members that. So if you're planning a price increase and you're going to be shouting about it, you're going to be talking about it and mentioning it publicly, make sure beforehand that you've communicated this upcoming price increase to your existing members. And that's for two reasons. First of all, to avoid them asking whether their price is going to go up. You want to avoid that confusion. You want to lighten the chances that you'll get all sorts of support requests or even complaints in from people if they think that their price is suddenly going to go up. Reassure them that they are locked in at the price they joined for. And then secondly, it's also to remind them of the great value they're getting. So what we talked about in terms of retention, of how powerful a retention tool it is to keep your older legacy members in at that lower price. Make sure they're aware of it. Make sure they know that as a reward for their loyalty, they are on a lower rate than anyone joining the site brand new is able to get. So tip number one, make sure you keep existing members on their original price. Tip number two, you want to use the upcoming price raise as an anti-discount. So what I mean by that is, rather than running a pricing promotion where you are offering $10 off a month or 20% off your monthly subscription, you can actually use the fact that in 4 weeks' time your price will be going up. You can use that as the promotion. So you're not actually giving anyone any money off, but you're saying to people, okay, right now you can join our membership site for only $50 a month. In 4 weeks' time, you need to join by this deadline. So you're using the scarcity, you're getting the urgency going on. You need to join by this date, because after that date, the price will double. Now that is the anti-discount. You're not giving anybody any money off. You're able to run that big scarcity promotion where you're really tapping into urgency and scarcity as a marketing technique based around the fact the price is going to be going up in the future. And I definitely think if you're going to be putting your prices up, you set a date for that several weeks down the line. You don't just decide today, okay, I want to put my prices up by $10 a month, so I'll nip into my membership plugin, I'll tweak the settings, and then from now on, everyone will join at that higher rate. Use the opportunity that this price increase affords you in order to run a promotion around the fact that time is running out for somebody to get in at the current pricing level. So that's tip number two. Use your upcoming price increase as an anti-discount. And for tip number three, it's kind of related. If your price increase is substantial, so if you are going from $50 a month to $100 a month, that anti-discount, that milestone when your price goes up, what you could do as a third tip is consider staggering the price increase. So if you know that in 2 months' time, so right now it is April. So if you know that in June, so by the end of June, your pricing is going to be $100 a month. And right now it's $50. Rather than waiting till the beginning of June and then telling people, okay guys, you've got 1 month to join at $50. Otherwise it's going up to $100 at the end. What you do is you tell people right now, our price is going to be going up to $100. But for the next 8 weeks, or for the next, 4 or 5 weeks, you can say, okay, this week, the price is going up to $60. Next week, it'll go up to $70. The week after, it goes to $80. The week after, it goes to $90. So you're staggering the price increase. And that gives you like 5 bites of the apple. Or, however many increments you increase your price in, where it's basically the sooner you act, the sooner you join, the better the price you get. So that's kind of a fun twist on that anti-discount approach. So rather than jumping from $50 to $100, you're telling people that, okay, you need to act within the next 5 or 6 weeks, because now it's $50. In 6 weeks' time, it will be $100. But if you join this week, it's going to be even better for you. It's going to be cheaper for you than if you wait till next week. And if next week comes, it's going to be cheaper than if you wait till the week after. So that's just a twist on the anti-discount. Use staggered increases to kind of work your way up towards what that final price is going to be. And you can even do it by the dollar. You know, if you know that your price is going to go up by $20, you could literally increase it by $1 per day and run a whole promotion around the fact that every day you wait, you miss out on a saving of $1 a day or something around that angle. You can weave a whole marketing angle around the fact that as the time winds down, the monthly price gets higher and higher and higher, and it'll eventually get to this end point of, say, $100 or what have you. And this is a strategy that shopping channels use a lot because it's highly effective. Time's running out. The longer you wait, the slight difference, a slightly bit more expensive it's going to be for you to join. So you're rewarded for fast action. So again, that's tip number 3. Consider using staggered price increases. Tip number 4 is completely different. So if you're thinking about putting your price up and perhaps you're worried about that affecting the number of sales you're going to get, then really start to think about why you're actually putting your price up. Are you adding any additional value into your membership? Has your offering, let's say when you started with your membership site, it may be that the whole proposition was that you would offer one mini course per month or one live training call per month, but your membership site evolved to the point where you're offering all sorts of extra value, or where your members are telling you, okay, these one mastermind calls or one Q&A calls a month, they're really great. What we would love is if we had a piece of software, or if we had some one-on-one time, or if we had some courses or what have you. So you might be in a position where you're thinking, okay, well, if I'm going to offer all of that, I want to put my monthly price up. If that's the case, then rather than just having that single pricing option and then increasing that, you could consider having tiered pricing options. So tier 1 might get just what they've always got. They might just get that one monthly training call. Tier 2 is going to be more expensive, but you're adding in extra value. So you're providing different levels of product to the different price points. So tier 2, they may get their monthly training call plus one-on-one session with you every month. Tier 3, they could get the one-on-one session, their monthly call, plus a piece of software, or plus a bonus course or a bonus seminar every month. So rather than just bumping your pricing right up, if you're worried that doing that is going to cost you new signups, you could look for ways to segment your offering or to add extra value in creating different tiers for your membership, so you can give people options. So you can still have your $50 a month option that is the same as it's always been, but by adding extra value in and bringing in tiers to your pricing, so you can have a bronze, a silver, and a gold level, that just gives you the ability to offer more to the people who want more and who are willing to pay for it. And when you have membership tiers, that also triggers all sorts of psychological effects when it comes to pricing strategy too, because obviously somebody comes from a membership site, they see an option for $50 a month, an option for $100 a month, an option for $200 a month. Then certain people, just the fact they've got those options, may be swayed towards joining on a higher priced plan than they otherwise would have done if there was just the one option on the page. So that's tip number 4. Consider using pricing tiers, so different tiers of your membership product rather than just a straight pricing increase. And that's going to have a lot to do with the reason why you're putting your price up too, as well as the specifics of your actual membership product. And then idea number 5 is to potentially just increase one pricing option at a time. So let's say you do have tiered pricing, or maybe you offer a monthly option and an annual option. Again, to get more bites of that apple, what you can do is, rather than doubling all of your prices, so your $50 tier becomes $100, your $100 tier becomes $200, and so on, you could actually increase the pricing of the different tiers one at a time, or increase your monthly price but leave your annual price where it is for another couple of weeks. So again, that lets you use the scarcity element. So going back to the example in the second tip of the anti-discount, leave leading up to your monthly price going from $50 to $100. But if you also have an annual option, let's say that that's $500 right now, and you know that's going to go up to $800, then your first anti-discount promotion can be all about the increase in price of the monthly option. And then when that monthly price goes up, you could leave the annual where it is for 1 week or 2 weeks. And you can kind of say, okay, our monthly price has now gone up, but for this week only, you can join on an annual plan for the old price. So again, that's just kind of using urgency, using scarcity, getting as many different bites of the apple as we can. So rather than just sticking all your prices up all in one go without much fuss, you can turn this into a multi-leveled promotional opportunity that's going to give you all sorts of different angles to go out there and bring in new members based on the pending pricing increases. What I would say when it comes to increasing your membership pricing, there's 4 key things I would always recommend. First thing is to communicate and be clear in your communication. Don't try and trip people up. Don't try and kind of dress up the price increase as something that it isn't. Be straight. We're putting the prices up. This is going to happen. But we thought we'd give you a heads up, a 2-week warning. So if you were ever going to join, if you're on the fence, now's the time to get off, because if you wait any longer, it's going to cost you more. Just be totally clear about what you're doing so there's no confusion. You don't want to trick people into joining your membership site, because when they join their site, they'll figure it out. They'll figure out they've been tricked. And then that's not going to work out very well for you. So communicate clearly. Be transparent is a second tip for that. Make sure that, again, you're not lying, you're not misleading people, you're not telling people the price is going to go up and then quote unquote changing your mind or having a change of heart. Be totally transparent, be totally honest. Transparency is key when it comes to membership sites, because if you're trying to trick or deceive people into joining your membership site, you have to remember that the goal is these people will stick around for months, and that's just not going to happen if you trick people into joining. So be totally transparent with what you're doing. Tip 3, tell a story. Tell people why you're putting the prices up. If you're putting up because the membership site has become so successful, or because, you've been running for 6 months or a year and you're getting all this great feedback and people are having all these great results, and that's leading you to a point where you need to put your prices up, whether that's because you want to reinvest into the membership, whether it's because, you want to be able to focus 100% of your time on serving your members. Tell a story. Use the reasoning for the price increase. Assume it's not just, I feel like making more money. Try and tell a story. Tell the story of how your membership site's gone so far, what sort of results people are getting, how it's evolved. That'll help you to form a connection with your potential members. It'll afford you opportunities to mention features of your membership, to brag about the results your members are getting. And then finally, take your time. If you decide today you want to increase your prices, that doesn't mean that needs to happen within the next 24 hours. Be patient with it. As we've hopefully demonstrated through the different ideas that I've talked about so far on the podcast, there are various angles and various ways that you can get a lot of mileage out of the fact that you're going to be putting your prices up. So be patient with it. Map this stuff out. Think about how you can do this creatively. Take the time to communicate to your existing members. Try and get them in on the act too. Or maybe, see if we can throw some unexpected value at those members too. Thank them for the fact that they've been early adopters. They came on board early on. Acknowledge and recognize that, while also reinforcing the fact that obviously they're going to continue on at their current price, and if they do leave and then they do come back, then they lose that advantage there. So if you are thinking of increasing prices for your membership, if that's something that's been on your mind, hopefully this has shown you that there's so many different layers and so many different levels to what you could do to really get the most out of that price increase. It's not just about deciding that, okay, now we're going to charge $50 instead of $40. You can do a lot with this in terms of strategy and marketing to really get the best from that pricing increase. Okay, hopefully you found that trip back into the vault useful. And if you are thinking about putting the price of your membership up, Now you are fully equipped to absolutely maximize the opportunity that gives you, and also to handle the whole process in a way that's nice and smooth, that doesn't cause any problems or issues with your existing members. Thank you so much for joining me for this week, for this trip into the vault. Hopefully you're enjoying this hand-picked selection of some of our best episodes. I really, really appreciate you choosing to listen to the show and for supporting the podcast. If you've enjoyed today's show, please share it on social media. Please share it to your peers in Facebook groups, anyone where you think they'll benefit from listening to the Membership Guys podcast. I'd appreciate you letting them know about it. And if you want to show me a little bit more love, I would be eternally grateful if you'd consider taking a minute or two to leave an honest review and rating for the show in iTunes, on Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're listening to us. Now, when I say an honest review and rating, if you're thinking of giving it 1 star, then, maybe go do something else. 5 stars, please. No, honestly, these reviews, they're extremely helpful when it comes to reaching our audience, and I read each and every review personally, so just know that I will truly appreciate it. And of course, if this is your first time listening, be sure to hit that subscribe button in your podcast app to make sure that you never miss a single episode. Next week, we'll be concluding this trip into the vault. We're going to be talking about using guests in your membership content. So guest experts, bringing them in to do workshops, training, to create courses, webinars, that sort of thing. So I'm going to give you some tips and advice for how to get guest experts to come in as part of your membership content, and how to handle things like whether or not you should pay them for their contributions. So make sure you tune in next week for another trip into the vault of the Membership Guys podcast. That'll be our third and final trek into the archives, and then after that, it's back to business as usual with our regular weekly dose of proven practical tips and advice for membership owners. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I'll be back again next week with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.